Good evening, boys and girls. We're going to be coming on about 9 o'clock p.m. That's Central Standard Time, and you know that if you're watching. We've got a couple of guests tonight. It's going to be no holds barred. We're going to be talking how we feel. It's a bunch of people that walk the walk and talk the talk, so I don't know what to expect. Facebook, don't kick us off. We need this platform. Folks, stay tuned. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies. And for Pete's sakes, let's get some racists watching tonight, because I think our message is really more important for them than anybody else. No, I'm kidding. Y'all can stay too. Go get something to drink. Join us pretty shortly. Hi, Lisa, my darling. It's good to see you. We'll get everybody coming in. In the meantime, welcome to Barron Landscapes. I'm going to grab my coffee. No time for a cigarette. I know. Barron, quit smoking. Grab a seat. Good to see everybody coming in. Dusty, hey, how are you? It's so good to see you. Hey, we're going to have a surprise appearance. The monkey is going to be on tonight. Abra Capuchin. I don't know that he'll have a lot to say, but I can tell you these days he is pissed off. How's everybody doing tonight? Good, I hope. Got my my cheat pad going on. I see some folks have sent some messages through for me, but I got my cheat pad going on. Y'all are looking good. Greg, it's good to see you. Welcome to Barron Landscapes, episode 10. My God, I can't believe it. Episode 10 means we've done 10 weeks. It doesn't sound so bad when you say 10 weeks. It's like 10, but 10 weeks, and so that's about 300 hours put into this little show, and that means 300 hours that you guys have given it of love, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. You sticking with us, building this thing with us, and I'm going to use you again tonight. And you know, I like to use you on occasions. I'm going to use you again tonight. It is Friday for those COVIDiots out there that can't seem to keep track of the days, because you got nothing better to do than sit around like every day is Monday. It's not. Get off your butts, make something happen, become the success you want to be. It is Friday. I'm going to take the weekend off. No, you know that's not true. I don't take any time off, so this weekend is not going to be any different. We may take some time off Sunday. I don't know. So welcome. It is Friday. I want to get this out of the way right in advance because sometimes I remember and sometimes I forget. I want to thank Brian Anderson and Justin Clements for the music that we use on the show. You guys are really awesome and make it happen. So thank you so very much for allowing us the use of that music. Tonight we're going to be talking about fork in the road or forks in the road. There's a lot of forking in the road going on, is what I'm saying. A lot of decisions to be made. And there are decisions on three fronts. We're being barraged. We've got, first of all, of course, the health front. We've got COVID still out there, still happening. Still got to be careful, wash your hands, wear your mask, and all that. Speaking of wash your hands and wear your mask, for Pete's sakes, people, wear your mask right. I've seen folks with the mask like down below your nose. That's only a snot catcher. And I've seen folks with the nose covered in the mouth, but your mouth is spitting at me. And don't wear it down on your chin. Put it up. Cover your nose and your mouth. And we have our mask. Our masks have 2200 HEPA filter inside of them. That's how Athena makes them. And so we're pretty comfortable that we're not giving you anything nasty. But in the meantime, we spray the mask. And you know, this is normally where I talk about a book. But I thought, like tonight, let's drop the book and talk about you not dying. Because that would be dumber than me telling you about a book and you buying it and finding out it helped you. I want to keep you alive to read the books. So this is Clorox fabric sanitizer, and it takes care of bacteria on fabrics and virus on fabrics. I gotta tell you, man, I'm gonna keep this stuff forever. If COVID is ever long gone, or when it becomes like the flu, for those of you that are like, it's like the flu. When it does become like the flu, I'm keeping this stuff around because it kills everything. And this year, knock on wood, I've been pretty healthy. So I'm going to keep cleaning up. This is for cleaning your mask. You cleaned it on the outside, you cleaned it on the inside. It sterilizes your mask. You don't want to be wearing a mask and not keeping it clean in between your uses out in your car. And I know how you do it. I know you get in your car, you take your mask off. So let's try and stay alive. So that's in place of book of the day. There are some forks in the road. One is health. One of the other forks that we've got is the civic fork, the social fork, where we're all going. I don't know where you stand. I would imagine most of the folks, if you've come here and you've come here to watch me, most of you stand with me in the fact that Black Lives Matter. I don't think we're the crowd of All Lives Matter. I hope you're not. If you are, talk to me, message me, phone me. I want to talk to you more about All Lives Matter because right now, that ain't a thing. So I think most of you are my BLM crowd. More than that, I think most of you are my equality crowd. I think we've got a beautiful rainbow of people watching, and I love you all. But one of the forks in the road, people, is we're going for a ride on this planet, 1,000 miles an hour, and we're going together. None of us are getting off of this rock without dying. And we're riding this thing together. And I got to tell you, if you are looking at the U.S. today, if you are watching us today, and you think this is where you want to be forever, I don't want to join you. I see a better world. I see progress. I see a lot of progress happening. I see a lot more that needs to happen. Socially, we are at a fork in the road. For God's sake, or whatever it is you hold dearly, now is the time to take a stand. Now is the time to decide where that fork is going to go for you. So we've got the medical fork in the road with the virus, how to handle that. We've got the social fork in the road with everything, and we're going to talk about that more later on. And then we've got that final fork in the road, maybe not a final fork in the road. We've got the economy. And I don't even know how many of us are thinking about what the economy is going to do. You guys, we haven't felt the brunt of what COVID has done to us yet. We've got businesses that are opening and closing. When a business opens, it costs money. When a business closes, it costs money. And when they open again, it costs money. And eventually that business is not going to open up again. We've had 4 casinos shut down. Process that. 4 casinos shut down. How does, we've got a living room of guests coming. A casino, how does a casino shut down? But because of the economy today, we've had 4 casinos shut down. We've had casinos open and close and open and close. We've had casinos lose personnel. People have died from going back to work in casinos. So, wow, have we got some forks. Wow, have we got some forks in the road. So you got to make a decision. I hope you make the right decision, but it's your decision to make. Look, I'm up here presenting points of reference. What you do is up to you. I hope you make the best decision for your heart. I hope that you make the best decision for you. I have to make the best decision for my family and for myself. And I've got to say, if you make the wrong decision, if you decide that we can't become a world of equality, if you can't stand beside my gay children, if you can't stand beside my trans children, if you cannot stand behind my black brothers and my native brothers and mother and father and sisters, if you cannot stand with us, fork you right now. Take the forks in the road. Make the good decisions. I am always here. Speaking of forks, you know, I got to eat a little bit before the show, but I brought some sup. I did. Hey, how are you doing? Look at that. That's not spaghetti. Some strange things are going on out there. Hang on, I'll be right back for you. So my wife is cringing right now because Athena eats with a fork. Everything she eats with a fork. Pizzas with a fork. Fried chickens with a fork. Ice cream's with a spoon. Soup is with a spoon. Everything she eats with a utensil, never her hands. And so now I'm handling spaghetti. It's a big zipper, isn't it, babe? That is, can you imagine the pair of pants that came off of? That is a big zipper. And I am sure admirable, the size of that zipper is admirable. The zipper does unzip. And so we end up with 2 halves of a zipper. Got some crazy stuff going on in the world. It has gotten very, very strange out there. Now, I used to, little sticky zipper, I used to try and make predictions. And a friend of mine and I spent some time on the phone last night, very late at night. And he said, I want to call you because I like your predictions. I appreciate that you can see where things are going. And so I want to call you. And so we set up a call, he and I, and we talked. And he asked what my predictions were for the future. As far as COVID, as far as the economy, he's a magician. He wants to know, you think there's going to be a time when we get back to work? And I used to be able to predict these things with fair accuracy. Any casino person that's worked with me can tell you this, but I've got to tell you, these days, there are so many people, there are so many psychologies at play, that these days, just when you think you know how something is going to turn out, just when you think you've got a handle on it, it seems the problem is bigger than you knew. And by making a prediction and going in the wrong way, you've found an absolutely unsolvable solution. Helps no one. There are so many stands these days that people may take. And everybody wants solutions, and that's a fact, and I understand. But just as soon as we start trying to predict these days where politics are going to go, where religion is going to go, where the people are going to go, just as soon as we begin to try and predict, strangest thing happens. Every problem we have today is so inexorably linked into another problem that it really makes predicting where this is going to go quite impossible. because it seems whatever direction we take, we're thrown in another direction. Things are happening that are bad for me because I'm a control freak. Things are happening that are completely out of control. No more predictions. I don't know if everybody's going to wear a mask. I don't know if everybody's going to social distance. I don't know if businesses are going to open and close or close forever. I don't know if states are going to open and close and open and close, require masks, don't require masks. And so those beautiful days of me making any predictions are on hold because we just can't predict these days. Fork everything. Fork COVID, fork the economy, fork society. But it's weird. Even in these times, we make friends. And Facebook is frustrating. I've almost decided, y'all, I'm gonna not go on Facebook before the show. I'm gonna just go on and plug the show and then leave Facebook for the day because some folks out there just know how to rile me up. But it's good. I got into a big conversation. Don't know how many of you got to see that. Got into a big conversation before the show. It's been going on for about 2 hours. And I love our Canadian friends. I love our friends in Europe. I love our friends in Africa. I really love all of you, Australia, everywhere, Italy, France, Greece, India. I love you all. But, y'all, when I hear a Canadian telling me what's best for this country, don't do it. This is a different country. Our dynamics are completely different here than anywhere else in the world. It's a fight. It's a fight. And we're a little touchy maybe these days. Maybe we're a lot touchy. So we meet friends on Facebook. We meet friends in real life. Athena and I, last Thursday, a couple Thursdays ago now, last Thursday, went out to a rally, a peaceful rally in a little local town called Sabetha. And it's another town. It's about the size of Hiawatha. I'm not sure whether it's a little bigger or a little smaller, but is it smaller? They're about the same size, but Sabetha's smaller, because you know that's where you're from.
It's like 2,800 people.
2,800, so, and I think we've got almost 3,000. Woohoo! Here. And we went out, we heard some amazing speakers. We were going to take our 11-year-old granddaughter because we thought this would be a good experience for her to get out there, to see, to hear, and to be part of a movement. She's 11. It's not too soon. It's almost too late to involve her. But some idiots, I don't know if y'all are following me now because I said some pretty harsh things to you. I don't care. Some idiots said, we're going to shoot it up, bang, bang, pew, pew, pew. We've got our guns and we're coming for you. Pardon the rhyming, but I mean, that's where it takes me in my head. And a few of us took notice. Alex, you, and I'm going to introduce Alex coming up. You took a lot of notice and you went, oh, hell no, not here. And we got law enforcement involved. And yes, stop. I know. You see my page. I get it. Look, I never said all law enforcement was bad. Y'all did. I never said there weren't some good cookies in the bunch. Y'all did. What I'm saying is I worked with law enforcement too long to think that there aren't some really dangerous people wearing that badge and that there aren't some really stupid, scared people supporting them. That's all I'm saying. And so, yeah, Alex got the police involved. I got the police involved. I think we all kind of went, oh, hell no. And they were taken care of for us. Yeah. We decided in the meantime, while all that was going on, that we were not going to take Victoria. Hello, Miss Hauser, how are you? But we will take her next time, and I'm hoping that we're going to, I've been hearing rumblings about right here in Hiawatha setting something up, so I hope so. I want our grandkids to join this fight. They're mouthy. I don't know if you all saw Victoria's chalk art on her sidewalk. Had somebody come up and complained about that chalk mark on the sidewalk. Whop, baby, whop. But nobody did complain at all. Because she's a little white kid. That's why. Let's be truthful about it. In a little white town. Nobody's going to complain. I don't even know if they can make out the letters BLM there. You know what I'm saying? I love my granddaughter. I'm so proud of her for doing that. For thinking to do that. So we're going to get the kids involved. Yes, the 7-year-olds too. I want them to be steeped in this history that we are making right now. We heard some speakers. Amazing. But one in particular One in particular, and his name was Alfred. Now, Alfred is 73.
He's, what year is this?
I know he told me he was having a birthday.
72. He's
71.
Wait,
I know he's my senior.
born in 49.
Born in 49. He's older than I am.
Next month is his birthday.
Happy birthday. I got to remember.
So he'll be 72.
72. So
No,
Alfred spoke.
He'll be 71.
At 71. We're aging you. We're aging your dad right here.
He's
Alfred,
60, 48.
42. He told his story, and I got to tell you, y'all, he walked up, was a little bit windy. He's a small guy like me, much older though. And he walked up and he had sheets in his hand, and I thought, okay, boomer, and then I realized, I would do the same thing. And it was windy, and he controlled the sheets. And he didn't get flustered. He laughed about it a little bit. Put the sheets back in order. Maybe cursed the wind just a touch. And then he began to tell his stories. Growing up in a small community in rural Kansas. And they were everyone's stories. We've heard them, we've seen them. He spoke from the heart, and what I heard him say is, we have to grow up, we have to change. We have to change. He told stories about the goodness of people and the darkness of people. And when I went over, I had to hug him, y'all. You know me, like germaphobe and stuff, and alcohol and washing my hands and shit. I had to hug him. I was compelled. I'm a hugger. And I gave him a hug, and there was a young man there that I had befriended on Facebook a few weeks earlier, and I recognized him from befriending him on Facebook, and I put two and two together because I'm a little slow this way, and I came up with four, and I thought, well, that's Alex. You are Alfred's son, Alfred Moore, and Alex Julian, who I will introduce in just a moment, father and son. And Alex and I got talking because his dad was like, hero of the moment. Everybody wanted a piece of that man. And so I had to let him go. I want to talk to him some more so badly. You guys, you know me. He knows history, and I will sit back with an elder and listen to history all night long. But I saw his son, and we began talking. And I knew that Alex was articulate because I what do you call it, stalked his Facebook page. Happy birthday, by the way, Lee. I'm sorry I missed it last week or earlier. But what an articulate young man. And anybody younger than me now is young man. I had hoped to meet him, and when he said his dad was speaking out there, I thought, well, maybe he'll be there. And there he was, face to face, and we began this conversation. And Alex is an eloquent speaker. And in conversation, a word came up. And the word is sophistry. Now, if y'all are watching on a device, a rut-row, you can't go looking it up real quick. Don't drop my watchership. Sophistry. Sophistry is a fallacious argument. Immediately upon hearing the word sophistry, the definition flopped into my head. Fallacious argument, well, that's what magicians do. I give you the pattern, I mislead you, I twist and turn, and voila, I take a couple zippers and do some amazing stuff with them. With the intention to deceive. That's sophistry. Present an argument, twist it around, make the word say anything you want with the intention to deceive. And an idea came into my head because I was talking to Alex, and that idea said, this has to be on Barron Landscapes. And then inside of me, another idea said, hey, it's his word. He doesn't like own the word, but I was renting it. But it was really his spark that he gave to me. And I said right then and there, and I've apologized to Athena for this. I said, honey, I'm sorry. I didn't even think, y'all, that I might want to talk to my wife before having guests on the show. I will be punished. I'm washing both cars, mowing the lawn. You know, I got work to do now. And I thought, a guest? We've never had a live guest. We've never had dead guests either, Alex. I mean, rest assured. We haven't had a live guest. And so I'm going to bring you on up here, Alexander Julian. Alex, tonight, more. Sorry. What do you want, red or blue?
And we're not even going to
I'll
bring
go
your
red.
head.
Okay, you got red. They hurt. I mean, if we were, thank you. That we need for our
Well,
closing.
I don't know what it's doing there. So
And that's just to remind me to thank Brian and Justin because I appreciate. You're a musician.
I am.
I really appreciate musicians. You guys put yourselves out there in notes like we magicians put ourselves out there in mystery. And rarely do I hear the guys go, hey, thank you for my music. Especially since I'm using their music and it's like royalty free. It's not going to be banned by Facebook. It's music
Right.
that I can use. Justin writes Moog synth. I love Moog synth and he writes that stuff for me. Nobody says thank you. What is up with, we see these little talkie shows and music, da 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 da. I don't care if you get it for free, y'all. If you're an artist and you get that music for free, remember to thank the artists that make it. But you're not just a musician.
Well, I mean, no, I'm not. I'm barely a musician anymore. I don't play very much, but, I still have a passion for it. But at the end of the day, I kind of reached a point to where if I'm writing about personal stuff, you put yourself out there so much, and there's such a vulnerability in songwriting or any form of
Any art.
especially verbal art or words, poetry, any of that. You're giving the most vulnerable parts of yourself to people, and I spent a lot of years playing in bars where the band is really background. The people that are there to get drunk. They're not there. The band just happens to be playing.
You're the noise they're going to dance to and drink
Maybe. As if they're
Right.
paying attention.
Right.
And then I've played in venues that the people were there to hear music. And the difference between these two environments and the pay between these two environments are at odds.
to. Very much so.
Because the gigs where nobody is really there to listen to the music, you're making good money, but you're also playing for 3 or 4 hours. Whereas you could go do a show where there's 4 bands and you're gonna make like $60 as a band unless you're playing a large venue, and you got some
we
clout.
got gas and a pizza.
But I ain't got no clout. So, yeah, no, I love music. I played with a lot of guys that are just, some of the smartest, most empathetic, loving people. I still talk to them all to this day. And, we had a phrase, and it's not complicated, and forgive the language if it offends you, but I don't really care. Don't be a dick. And everything in life,
Don't be a dick with
I'm not a religious person, but you can summarize what Jesus was all about. At the end of the day, what he told people was, hey man, don't be a dick. Treat people with love and care and kindness. Treat people the way that you would want to be treated. And somewhere throughout time, that which I consider to be the primary focus of what he was about,
And I'm with you on
became the underlying thing, and the dogma and the stigma began to dominate that until we ended up with what we have today. And we live in a society where evangelicals in mass supported a man that you could not convince me in a million years has an ounce of faith. And that baffles me.
I will disagree. I think he has a lot of faith in
In
himself.
himself.
Of course.
Yeah, he is
all
a
right.
textbook narcissist. And that's, I don't...
I worked
I'm not
for
here to
one.
harp
I'm
on
good with
Trump
that.
because there's a lot, issues go deeper than that. And I was resharing things that were popping up on my Facebook, and this is anywhere from 2, 4, 6, 8 years ago, and what they are is the exact same arguments I have to have today. And I don't have these conversations the way I used to. I used to take my time, research, educate people, but what they don't realize is I've been having these same conversations for 10 years.
Are you
I am
tired
exhausted. I am exhausted, and it's not my responsibility.
I was going to ask you about how tired are you?
I'm completely tired.
Thank
People
you.
can't even tell me who their state representatives are, but they want to tell me how government functions. And it's like, listen, I have a lot of spare time, and I am an information sponge. So I spend a lot of my
I hear her
time
laughing.
watching high level, like, I don't care what Trump tweeted. what just got passed into law through Congress.
Correct.
And if you are unaware that that occurs, but you're focused on a tweet, you're ignorant. And the problem that we have, all this societal battles that we believe were happening, it's all just a false derision that's being propped up by the media and other interests.
But they're making money on that.
Absolutely.
On us.
Absolutely.
Facebook, we know you are right now. It's cool.
It's cool.
It's a platform. Thank you.
I was supporting the Mixer merge earlier,
Right,
so
right.
they're gonna have some better technology on the face page here soon.
I'm looking forward. Words.
Words.
I got to throw this out because we have to. This is Barron Landscapes, and it's because there's bleak shit out there, but it's my name too. So how cool is that? Oh, Alex, the only reason that it's so hard for you and you're so tired is you're a black man.
Yeah, I don't have a choice but to participate. I don't get to opt out. And people don't understand that. But I also understand that I have my own set of privileges. I am
Unique ones?
Yeah, absolutely.
No!
I don't have what you would call white privilege, but I've got mixed privilege. My friend Vern, I lived with this guy for years. He's from Bellevue, Kansas. He's one of my best friends. He lives down in Texas now. But he's just as articulate as I am. He's a very smart man, but he is black. I am mixed. I have almost a questionable ethnicity. You know what I mean? When I get approached, they're not like black guys. They're like, what are you?
Jose.
Right. And I get that. And I used to just make stuff up. People are like, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, Morocco.
Right.
I don't know what anybody from Morocco looks like. But people would just go, oh,
Wow.
cool. And it's just like, yeah, you have no idea either. But, because like a phrase I hate, and it's been said to me so many times in my life that anymore I have to stop it. I have to shut people down. You talk like you're white.
Oh.
My family of black
hang on.
people.
I'm not done yet. Let me. Oh, mother.
Okay, yeah. Get your.
I gotta get this out. No, I'm not saying anything. let me unseat here. What?
Yeah. So apparently, diction and articulation is a trait of white people. I did not know this. Apparently, neither did my 150 years of black people who have lived in rural America. Apparently, if you don't
Nobody
speak
told
like
Martin
you're
Luther
from,
King about that.
Right. So apparently, because I don't speak like I grew up in an inner city in the 80s and 90s, I have less validity as black man. But same token, though, I know. Again, get back to my buddy Vern.
Right.
He has had guns pulled on him, fitting the description. This is a man from a town smaller than
Can we just go
Sebeka.
fitting the description? I hate doing
Fitting
that
the
shit,
description.
but can we do that?
And it's like he didn't even remotely. We were tailgating at a football game. We went to college down in Pitt State. 8 officers. He's eating Doritos, and they're like, "We need to clean out the parking lot." There are 40 other groups of non-black people still sitting there chugging beer, hanging out, and they focus on this one man, surround him with 8 people, rip the Doritos out of his hand, and start screaming, "Stop resisting." And I'm like sitting there the whole time like, you guys cannot be serious. Like, you just manhandled a dude for eating Doritos in a parking lot. And again, people talk about like, oh, you had it so bad, you've had these. Some of them aren't my own experiences. And again, I acknowledge I get certain benefits of the doubt that somebody of a darker complexion does not.
I will tell you, that is a very light-skinned Hebrew guy, privileged up the bahooha. That's not, by the way, Hebrew, but it's close enough.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hear you. I am now, folks. It's funny because racism has roots everywhere. I am what's called white rye.
Okay.
That's to my people.
Okay.
I'm less than. I can't possibly be a whole Jew. I am, y'all. Come on now.
No.
So, you see how words become important in this show. Have you heard about the Holton thing?
No, I have not.
Let me clue you in, because I'm saving articles. I'm about to get more involved in it. Did you hear about Shayna, the Holton?
I don't think so.
A couple of their kids they get out of Walmart.
Oh yes, the groceries.
The groceries.
Oh yeah, I did. I saw the video.
I saw the apology that is not an apology. No, they didn't. It was we're not going to release an apology because we don't feel that we broke any policies or procedures. hey man, just because there's a baby in a hot car for over an hour and dad can't turn the car on, and okay, maybe you can't, per procedure, allow a person to turn their car on. I get it. They're a perp. How about having the child come into a police car, sit in the front with your wife? Let's talk. How long does it take to add up 3 bags of groceries? It takes you an hour to add this. Why are you running the man's debit card? Excuse me, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
It's ridiculous.
Why are you running the man's debit card? You ready? This is, I've got the quote. It's highlighted in my notes. The quote is, to make sure you had that money.
He has a receipt.
You know what I'll bet?
You know what? It doesn't matter if he had the money. He might
And
face
maybe
an
he doesn't
overdraft
now.
fee. But the transaction was accepted. So whether he's got more money
He
in his
paid
account
for
is
this.
irrelevant. Exactly. Walmart got, or whatever it was, got their money.
I will make you a bet that as this conversation in Walmart is happening, the man is speaking eloquently and making his point and very scared for his family. Sheriff and PD show up. The sheriff department and PD show up. I mean, how badass is a guy with his wife and kids?
Yeah.
3-month-old.
Whoa,
Dangerous.
3-month-old baby. He might throw the baby.
At you.
At you.
As a weapon. We all know babies are very dangerous.
Dirty bombs.
projectiles.
Now-
Dirty bombs.
Sophistry. Here we've got a narrative that's begun over in Holton, and that narrative has been twisted.
Oh, I'm sure they're trying to find every negative element of that individual they can in order to demonize him. Just the same way.
Because they're perfect.
And
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, anytime a black person is subjected to something like this, they're like, what did they do in their past?
Right.
And
We don't ask that about anybody else.
nobody is. Well,
You
I am.
know-
No, I am these days. I want to know what every cop has done in their
Well-
past. I want to know now. Every single cop. What's in your
Well,
jacket?
that's because that is a.
But
that
they're
is
never
a-
going to see what I. If I ended up out there, they're never going to go, well, what did Barron do in his past?
Right, right.
And Shauna, we're going to bring you up here. Not yet, because I want to do one more thing, and then we're bringing you in. You've been watching it. I've been watching it. I'm going to try and keep my cool here. I'm a little whiny bitch.
If I can keep my
swear,
cool, you
man.
can keep your cool.
All
There's
right.
a 7-year-old watching.
Oh yeah, my 7-year-old granddaughter's here. There is no way that for any amount of time, a year, 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, in a NASCAR garage, there is no way that rope, that garage door handle, stayed that clean, folks. Go look at the picture. I want you to look at that garage door handle, and I want you to tell me that mechanics raised and lowered that garage door with that garage door handle. And I want you to tell me, I want you to look me in the eyes. I want you to video chat me. And I want you to tell me,
Listen,
I want you to tell me that garage door handle was a garage door handle because there ain't a speck of grease on it. I'm going to breathe. I'm just
I know
gonna
so
chill.
little about that. That's the Bubba situation, isn't it?
It is.
I don't. Obviously,
I'm not a NASCAR guy.
I'm
I
not
quit
either. I
watching
love
NASCAR.
racing. I just am not a fan of NASCAR.
I like skiing.
You give me some
and shit.
GT
I'm not-
series.
I'll tell you
something
what,
like that.
what caught it was, and this got really weird for me. I'm a researcher too, and I absorb and I remember where I've seen things. And when it very first came out, it was the mechanic, I think his name is David Pates or David Pitts, was holding the noose. This wasn't a very good picture. But they said, found a noose, going to turn it into NASCAR. NASCAR turned it into Department of Justice. And I thought, okay, well, we'll see how this comes out. I put it out on Facebook because it concerns me. I don't want the lie to be set by not having it documented.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And just as no matter whether or not something benefits my perspective, I am not going to share information in a discussion fashion that I do not know to be true.
Correct.
I do not ever intentionally spread. Now, I catch myself all the time going, and I'll say something that it's like old wives' tale sort of stuff, and I go,
Is it urban
and
legend?
I'm like,
Is that?
wait a minute, have I ever actually looked that up? Is
Ah.
that real? And then I go look it up, and I'm like, no, that's
Whoops.
not true at all. Snakes can't bite you underwater. That's not true. They can.
They can, yes,
They
I know
can.
that. So here is this, and I didn't want it to disappear, so I shoved it on here's something that may be happening wall. And time passed, you know, everybody's going to investigate. And then the new pictures came out. I say new pictures because, like, I've looked at them, and that you saw the road. I'm sorry, it's new. It's not. That's not been hanging on a garage door since 2019. It just hasn't. But I went back, and my post is gone. And I went back online to all the news services. I generally go to news service. I go to AP. I go to UP. I go to the news services. And there is nothing there. I go to Cache so that I can go searching in Cache to find that. But there's nothing there. I've got to go back through my phone now. I promised a friend I would do this. I believe I took a screenshot. I've got to go back through like 10,000 photos now.
Oh, goodness.
I'm pretty sure I took a screenshot. I want to get this out there because this, I'm a Judas priest, see.
I am too.
Brother!
I have married
This
people as a
aggression
Judas
will
priest.
not
That-
stand.
Yes, that's right.
I love
Just
you
gotta
more and more all the
Take
time.
it easy and abide,
Wow.
man.
So, words. And sophistry is not reserved for words, I'm finding. It's reserved for platforms, it's reserved for campaigns, it's reserved for concepts.
Yeah, it's broader. It's broader than language, and so what sophistry effectively is what lawyers do, and it's what I used to do. And Shayna will attest that I was, and anybody that knew me when I was younger, I'm always right.
Oh, you and me both. I lost that when I was about 50.
And I lost it when I was about 30. I finally started
a young
realizing that there's a difference between being right and being correct.
Ooh.
And because I could argue well, I could take a devil's advocate position on something I didn't even believe and win the argument.
Convince them.
And therefore, everybody present is now walking away believing that whatever viewpoint, even though I know it's bullshit, but now I have convinced a room full of people of something that is just untrue because my ability to talk better than somebody that probably has better information but just can't present it with the same amount of, intensity and yeah.
You know what hit me? I wasn't as smart at 30 as you obviously were, but what hit me
I learned a lot from
with
Dad.
regard to that argument, I learned most of my stuff from her dad, who was a lot like your dad. I found out, quite by accident, that through those arguments, through those debates, that I won. And they walked away knowing I won. And me knowing it was bullshit.
But now you know how to dismantle them.
But you know what? They thought that was me. They thought that argument was me. And so my persona might be lent to that argument. And it hit me in the face one day and I went, but I don't want I just wanted to be right. I didn't want my persona linked to that rightness.
Right.
Words are amazing. Are you ready to come up here and
Sure.
take a last sip of that? You didn't have a sip to sip.
I do. I have water.
Oh,
I just
take it. Okay, come on up.
If you get a sip of mine.
Let's go. This is like, dude, bring it. We'll find a floor to set it on. Whatever. I'm Barron.
I'm Shayna.
We hugged outside. Shayna Leahy. Oh my goodness. So Hawaiian,
Oh yes, Hawaii Performing Arts Festival.
and now Hiawatha Performing Arts.
Yes.
Words. Words. And you got. See, did I get involved with her first? I did, huh?
I have known Shayna for 20 years, 15, 20 years.
But I think I met you. How did this tryst begin? I think I met you.
Well, we
And
were
then
all
you-
at the rally in Sabetha.
But before that, it was Facebook, and we were like,
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, Alex was one of my students back in the day. I teach at Highland, and you.
I love it that
were
you kids are
in-
like, oh, back in the day.
You were
That
in
was
a
my day, baby.
show that I music directed here in Hiawatha. You were my Judas in Godspell.
Oh my God!
You didn't remember?
No, no. I wish you had said something. I adored. We did some things in that show.
We did. It was a
We
good
did
show.
Godspell, and I was Judas, and John. Interesting juxtaposition. I guess I did. Everybody hated me after the show. They told me I don't want to talk to you right now.
You did it right.
I'm like,
yeah.
okay, good.
Right,
Here we are.
right.
Good. At the last minute, we sort of, to much to your chagrin, Jesus and I kissed. We didn't know how that would. Hey, man, we didn't know how that would go over here so much.
God!
But he and I talked, and we went, that's the moment. That is sealing the deal. That is the moment when Judas imparts to Jesus, I fucked you. And when Jesus says, I know, you had to.
I let you do it.
You had to.
Mm-hmm.
Words. So, what a bunch of wordsmiths we are. So, found you on Facebook again, and I think we were all kind of commenting on the same thing, and I went and looked at your page, and I went, I need to know you. I do that these days. You know, I look at people's pages, and I'm like,
What's funny is
if you're
it
radical,
it
I'm
had
cool
been
with
before
you.
like a month and a half ago. I don't put the app on my phone. I access it through my desktop, and I cannot. It's too toxic. It's too toxic, and I don't.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. I've spent too many years having the same arguments over and over again, and I get sucked into them because I don't. I feel like I'm trying to help people, but I know I'm not.
no.
I'm not. All I'm going to do, and I've gotten to the point where I find questions are the best solution. Well, why do you believe that? What has led you to
I
believe
want to know
that?
where you're coming from in
I
your
do too.
sickness. Amen.
But you can't call it a sickness,
I
you
just
know?
did.
Well, I know, but when you're having a conversation
No, you
with
cannot.
somebody, you know, as soon as you make somebody feel defensive, they are going to shut down. And I got into it with this guy at Casey's in Sabetha a couple weeks ago, and I have a deep voice and I'm loud and I project, and people often assume that I am angry when I am not. I'm just loud and excited.
You also articulate well.
But it did get a little heated. But you know, his point was you can't change somebody's mind, and by the end of us arguing. Like, I mean, I was cussing him out after a while. I'm like, take your Fox News, and by the end of it, we shook hands, and he showed up at the rally. He didn't stay the whole time,
Okay.
but he showed up. And so
That's
that
a
whole
win.
notion that you can't change people's mind is a lie. It's like, if that were true, what would be the function of any education, any trade, anything? Everybody would just be babies forever.
Nobody
Like-
ever changed anybody's mind. We've seen the meme. Nobody ever changed anybody's mind on Facebook, and I think that's wrong.
I do too.
I
do
think
too.
we've seen it happen.
And I think discussion and having, and you know, again, like, especially in these small towns, it's a lot of issue of echo chambers. And I was fortunate enough to, like, when I was growing up, I didn't have to hear a lot of N-bombs and stuff like that. You know, Sabetha's got a little bit of a different, there's not a lot of overt racism. You know, to be honest,
It
I would
is.
get it more over here in Hiawatha.
Go to Horton.
And I would get it in, like, Falls City really bad. And, like, but I ran with a group of really tough guys, so.
You can handle it.
It worked out well. Yeah, I didn't have to do anything. I was just there.
I ran with a bunch of little Jews. I'll tell you, we were over in Horton. We moved here from Horton, and then I want to get you just being so demure and quiet and cool. While we just eat your time. We don't actually have a time limit, so whatever. Hey, there's going to be a really cool piece of magic coming up that we're all going to take part in. But I was over in Horton in Words. We moved from Horton, we moved to here, but I came off the road one day and went up to the city hall to pay a bill because it's hard to do when you're on the road. So I was just going to run a check and drop it off. They know who we are, boom, boom. And they put some handrails up. Thank you. We've been dying for handrails, so we get some handrails.
Turns out those are useful.
Access, right? It's kind of hard to get up there if you're older or what. And this big guy, man, overalls, flat down. We know the look. Big man was coming out. I didn't recognize him right off the bat, but I mean, like, we're obviously going to collide, and so I moved. I don't have a whole lot of space here, so I went sideways so the gentleman could pass by, but he danced. He moved over the other rail, and I went, oh, okay. And I danced. So now you want to go that way, and he danced, so I looked at him and I said the one thing that anybody I think would say, and I said, "Do you want to dance?" Duh. And he looked at me and he went, "Jew." And now I do not look Jewish.
No.
I really don't. I can sound Jewish. I can get
know.
it going.
That was
You've
that
got a
was little
gorgeous
bit.
Roman nose. I'm not so much.
But he jokes
And
about it in
but
his
I
shows.
do joke about it. I'm not quiet about it. My mother said, never keep that quiet because you've got the privilege of this. So let them know you're a Jew. If they've got a problem with that, they will speak out, and then you hit them over the head. It's called race baiting.
That's actual race baiting.
That is actual
And
race baiting.
I'm gonna put bait in front of you
Take
for
it.
you to expose yourself.
Have you seen my page? I do that all the come and bite, very subtle things, and then
and
because
now
I'm using my block
now I
button.
know where you really stand. You know.
Yeah, I
And
need
it
to know.
Sucks,
Don't
'cause-
hide. So he did that. That one word slayed me. I have had, as a Jew, I've had a lot of stuff happen that was really crappy, and you know that you go, yeah, well, I'm Jewish, it happened, and then this gets me out of it 99% of the time. It's good. I move on. I didn't pay the bill that day. I'm an ex-cop. I still got some moves even at 60. I can handle myself. My knees turned to water and my inside sloshed up. I threw up in the back of my throat, and all I wanted was mommy, but mommy's gone, and so I ran home to my wife.
And I wasn't that sympathetic.
She wasn't. Now I gotta tell you what, because she's native.
I'm also a girl.
She's a light native, but went through this all her life. And so we like to say around here, my privilege smacked me in the face because one day I had it and the next day it was gone, dropped with one word. You say, don't challenge, don't name call, ask a question, draw them in. Sometimes one word. Why?
Yes.
Why do you feel
Yeah.
that way?
Why is the most powerful world that
When
I
did
possess?
when did you come to that conclusion?
And
One
how?
word.
How?
Let's bring it forward, but you took a chance in Hiawatha producing Godspell.
No.
And putting together the Black Lives
And
Matter
I
rally
was
here.
saying, and putting together the Black Lives
That
Matter
wasn't
rally
the end
here.
of the sentence that I expected.
And we've got the movies.
The racial justice film series that we're doing.
Talk more, because I just saw a meme today and I went, no. The meme said, if you live in rural America, and I know it's not perfect out here, but if you want to stir things up in your town, post hashtag Black Lives Matter on your town website. And I went, I want to do you one better. Here's what's on our town top page. And they went, oh, we're not perfect here. I don't want to give you, there's, as you say, subtle racism, and there is also cultural mandates, cultural issues happening. We're not perfect, but we can have that on Hiawatha Happenings, and everybody's invited. Find Hiawatha Happenings. Tell us about the movies. Why those movies?
Well, it's I guess a series we put on through Brown County United, and we started obviously with the Black Lives Matter prayer vigil and rally, and then we decided we wanted something that would extend. We wanted to make sure people didn't feel like their work was done. You know, I've stood up for Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, end of it.
Look at what a great ally I am.
Yeah.
You know, and truth be told, I was thrilled with the turnout. I was thrilled with the people who were there, and I doubt many of them ever thought they would probably be doing something like that. You know, and so it is a wonderful, wonderful first step. But it's just a first step.
It has to be. It can't. The dialogue is not done. We're
No.
not finished.
No.
But it's almost like people expect you to be like, okay,
But
and
people
it's like, no,
do
no,
that.
we've done that.
I
That's
got-
why I
how old
keep
are you?
having these.
How
I'm
old are you?
36 years
How
old.
old are you?
40.
Okay, I just 40-something is fine. I gotta tell you, no, I mean, you know, whatever. I gotta tell you guys, we've done this before.
Yes.
We thought we made change. We thought we were headed in the right direction. I promise you we did. We didn't mean to leave
It
you
was
with this crap.
all lip service.
It was all bullshit.
And every bit of legislation intended to address these issues was so heavily laden with dingleberries. It's just like this bill that they're trying to push through on police reform.
Oh,
And it's such garbage
Like
that
human
it's
rights.
like you are naming it this, but the contents of the bill do not reflect the needs of our society.
Well, and that's sophistry.
That is
sophistry.
It happens in everything.
It's look at some of the bills. The
Patriot Act.
the Patriot Act. The
Yeah.
Patriot Act
Oh,
strips
that's ugly.
more of our freedoms. We have lost so much of our right to privacy, and I'm over.
no,
it.
we've lost all
I'm
of our
over
right
it.
to privacy.
Because the reality is the
by the way-
technology and Minority Report is pretty much the world we live in. and I just have accepted it. I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger and stupider, I may have sent some things I probably shouldn't have sent. Maybe if I run for office in 20 years, people will bring something.
No,
up.
tell
But
them
my
first.
thing is,
Tell
I
them
own
first.
me. I own everything I do, and I would tell somebody, "Is that what we're talking about?" Like,
Really?
that's weak.
I got to tell y'all, it's not the Patriot Act anymore, and you'll love this. They've changed the
It's
acronym.
the
Freedom.
NDAA.
It's the Freedom Act now.
Mhm.
The USA Free, and it's
NDAA.
neither. It's not
National
freedom.
Defense Authorization Act.
That's where
And that
that's
is
part
limitless
of
war.
on us.
No, on terrorism.
Well,
Because
that's us.
when you just declare war on a concept, not even a concept, terrorism is a tactic.
Oh, very much.
It would be like, we're declaring war on guerrilla warfare, and it's like
What?
a tactic?
I can ask you guys
Like,
a question.
wait.
That's
real
why they
fast.
had to declare Antifa as a terrorist
Oh, that's
organization.
my question.
But the KKK is still not labeled a terrorist
not even
organization,
declared a
and
hate
they have
group.
killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
No, because I refuse to accept
Oh, I hear you.
Antifa as
All
an
right.
organization.
Can we say
It is
it's
an
an
it is
anti-fascist
an
meeting?
abbreviation for anti-fascist.
And can we
And
say
if
this
George
is an
Soros-
anti-fascist meeting?
I am anti-fascist.
Good.
I'm
George,
not- okay.
you hear
are
us?
you-
Where's our
are you-
money?
right. That's what I'm like. Do I need to? Is he supposed
I
to
want
Venmo
my
me?
money.
Like if George Soros.
I think it's PayPal.
Like, I don't know, dude. Is he gonna?
Soros
Maybe
would
he's
use
an old.
PayPal.
Maybe he's an older guy. Money orders checks.
Yeah.
You know, snail
Something.
mail. Maybe I just haven't
Yeah.
gotten mine for
Certified
being
check.
Certified check, it's gonna be with
anti-fascist.
that signature
But I've
required.
never been to a meeting. I've
No.
never organized with anybody. I've never damaged anything.
No.
I just don't believe in fascism.
I'm against fascism.
So if you
I'd
want to
like
turn
to
that,
find someone here who claims to be a patriot and American who is pro-fascism.
that's what I'm
That-
saying.
they
I
can't,
just
they
don't
can't be
understand.
That's
that.
an illogical, but it's any way to turn, like, if you can make an idea into a tangible, attackable object.
Anti-fascism is
Now
that.
you get to group a larger group of people into the actions of a handful. There's like rioters and protesters, and it's like every day since the last thing you
Oh,
heard
yes.
about looting and rioting, there have been peaceful protests every day. But you know why you don't hear them? Because
It's not
it
news.
is not entertainment. And the purpose of the news industry is to sell advertisement. We are not the customer, we are the product.
Correct.
The advertisements are the customer.
Absolutely
Those
right.
companies. They are selling our viewing time. And so, if you're a news organization and you're getting a bunch of money from this guy over here, but you've got a story about some real jacked up things they did, are you going to run that story? Is your boss going to let you run that story? You know? And it gets so bad.
What was that guy's name? That guy's name? Feinstein, Weinstein, Erbstein, Harvey Weinstein. They absolutely said we are not running that story. Vanity Fair magazine said we absolutely are not going with that.
Yep.
Until the shit
Yeah, you
hit.
don't remember because you were
Hit
so
the
little.
fan.
And the thing is, for people like that obstruct that process and then only buckle when public pressure gets strong enough, you're a fucking coward. And you don't actually, you're complicit.
That's because
You were complicit to me because you knew what was going on and you were like, we can't deal with this.
And you can say
It's
that
not
for
out.
every case that we're fighting for right now.
Yep.
You know, Elijah McClain over
Oh,
a
God,
year
don't.
ago
Oh.
in Colorado. You know, but it's like until there is enough public pressure and individual movement for any individual action, there's no accountability.
So Elijah McClain, if you're not familiar, shame on you. If you're not familiar, check out my page on Facebook. Check out Shauna Leahy's page on Facebook. Google it. However, you gotta find this story.
It's the internet.
And I want you. It is the internet. It's big out there. Look, I'm a boomer and I can find the thing. And I want you to look at that. And I especially want you to share it with people that have said, "Oh well, George Floyd, criminal, blah 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 blah."
What
I
does
want
that
you to
have do with
share.
him kneeling on his neck for 8 minutes
And 46 seconds. Share Elijah McClain and tell me what he did
Right.
other than be
Right.
different. And I'll tell you what it is. And you can stop putting on my page that you disagree. There is no agreement here. There is
Yeah.
nothing to debate. He was being different while black. That's
Yeah.
the crime.
Little happy, kind of weird kid, a little out there.
Yep.
You know,
Oh my God,
and-
he was gorgeous. He played the violin
Yeah.
for cats at the shelter.
Yeah.
I'm
you know,
sorry.
It's probably on the spectrum, like, and it's like, and that's another.
Oh, he's
you know,
he's very much like our son.
I'll tell you,
Who?
like, sorry, I didn't interrupt
No,
you,
no.
but okay,
Well,
so
we've been doing
I
that.
worked in social services for a while. I managed group homes for
That's a
development
crappy
and
job
disabled.
for a guy with empathy.
When you see the level. Okay, so during this period of time, I am responsible for 3 houses with about 6 to 8 staff in each of them, and usually 3 consumers in each house. And this was Brown Pakistan years, and they cut so much social service funding. Now, mind you, for the main case, it just so happened that a lot of my consumers had the same caseworker, and so he was, you know, I dealt with him a lot, and his load tripled. And he already had like 20-some people. Now, mind you, he has to be there. I could get into how all this is funded and explain basis and all that, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, like,
It'd be kind of cool
he
to
has
fight on my
so
wall.
basically, it's like there is not enough time in your existence to adequately handle
I know
each
that's
of these
true.
individuals. And then on top of that, they closed the Social Security office in Lawrence.
Right.
So now everybody's got to drive to Topeka, and it's just like you. Well, I don't even.
So that's
I'm
a
about
trip.
to go off on Brown.
For the people. Too much. To
I
say.
miss
That's another
nice, I
show.
miss nice roads. I'll just say that. I miss
What's
I miss
that?
schools.
Cool, nice road. For us, a drive to Topeka is really, it's an all-day thing, y'all. So it's not like, oh, you can just run down to Topeka. It doesn't work that way. We're rural. Everybody is always like, oh, you don't have internet. What? No, it's down today because we're rural. Let's talk about Elijah McClain. Let's talk about
Breonna Taylor.
one of the things that I keep seeing over and over again is the word fired. Been fired. They're fired. You're fired. You're fired. Fired. I'm so sick of that word. I want to see words like you're prosecuted. You're going to prison.
Sentenced.
I want to see words like.
Sentence
Can
would
I
be
see
nice.
words like killer is a nice word? Can I see murderer?
Other words I would
Murder,
like to hear,
yes.
especially in the case of like George Floyd, knowing that those 2 men had a prior relationship.
Right.
I believe the moment he realized who it was that he had in custody, he made a decision that he was going to kill him.
To exert his power.
I watching him sit there,
Yeah.
and the more the people argued, the more
Now-
he dug in. And that is just a level of hatred and
Let me-
arrogance that is beyond me.
Let me give you one more level up there. Inside information. Kneeling. It was the left knee.
Yeah, wait a minute.
That's important.
Well, I couldn't have done
I
that
have to.
with the
Oh no, you couldn't because it would. The hand in the pocket. I put this out there. I've been threatened by cops. That hand in the pocket. I'm pushing down on my thigh. That's extra leverage. That's what I'm doing. And I'm not subduing a man at that point. I'm killing a man.
He's killing a man. And there were fighters that came out and said that's a
That's-
pretty good trick. You know, you can be air choked, and that's going to stop you from getting new oxygen into your lungs. But you still got some time because there's reserves.
A little bit.
And you still, but when you cut the blood flow to the brain,
You are
That
dying
man
of
knew he was dying.
asphyxiation.
no, you're
and by
dying
the
of
way,
your brain, of blood
that
death to your
literally
brain.
is asphyxiation. Listen, that
Anyone would not go with
man, all of them, really, when you say I can't breathe, say I can't breathe. And I get these arguments. Well, if they can say I can't breathe, they can breathe. No! Your brain is dying from lack of oxygen. You can't breathe. Your brain knows it. Your brain has only one way to communicate that. I can't breathe. And in some, it's sooner. In others, it's later. And 8 minutes and 46 seconds is a great frickin'
46
time.
seconds.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
And
3
actually,
words.
you know what? I don't even know that because when the video started, his knee was already on his neck.
So how long had it been?
846 is the number we know. How long was that going on? Because at the point that the video started, people were like, hey, you know, like the group
You're
had
killing
gathered.
him. You're killing
So
him.
that had probably been going on for another minute before that.
At least.
Before somebody was like, this ain't right, you know? And it's just
And to
that
threaten
to
that
me was
child that took the
premeditated
video.
murder.
Now I've got to tell you, a lot also words. We hear these stories and say their names, and my God, they're added to daily. Yeah.
Constantly.
We have to. People ask, well, why is it ramping up? It's ramping up because you are.
It's not ramping up. We're
No.
just recording it.
Documenting it.
Well, we're documenting it. We're
It's
seeing,
been,
but I don't
been
mean
this
I don't mean why
Rodney
is
King-
it frequency. I mean why are we getting so much more vocal? Why are we?
because we're aware of it.
And we're gonna
It's-
fight.
See, here's the issue. It's that
It's not ramping up, it's being exposed.
Well, the
until
more they're exposed, the
white
more we
people
expose.
started really talking about it, black people have been saying this. None of this is news to us. But
Surprise!
unfortunately, people that I know that would trust me as an otherwise rational, intelligent individual, I'm an honest dude. I don't abide liars and thieves. But you're going to discount what I am telling you is my personal experience because it does not fit with what you want to believe. My reality makes you uncomfortable, so your inherent biological reaction is rejection.
Yes.
And that's why you can't get through with force.
And it's
That's-
another
yeah,
good
that's
word,
absolutely right.
and I think it's the biggest word we have to overcome if we're going to really engage white people in this discussion, and it's the word shame.
Yeah. It's not helpful.
That's a dirty word.
It is, and as long as we continue to view people as racist, as this shameful, awful people, the people who use the N-word, the people who do, these killings, but refuse to look at ourselves and our own implicit bias because we can't face that shame in ourselves. We've got to be able to put that aside so that we can learn
Right.
and help.
You need to realize, like, if you're white and listening to this and you have what they call white guilt, stop. Because you need to realize that you were just as indoctrinated and manipulated as everyone else. How old were you when you found out the true story of Christopher Columbus? Because
Oh
I
my
didn't
gosh.
I didn't get taught
College?
that in school.
No.
Like, none of it. And
I
when I
learned
found
early.
out he killed more people than Hitler, I'm like, is this real life?
And we
Like,
don't even have a Holocaust.
Leopold,
We're getting
like,
a Holocaust Day now.
you know,
Indigenous
it's-
Peoples Day has taken the
Right.
place, but
or that
but
100
wait.
million First Nations people were killed. We
Are
don't talk about
continuing.
that.
They're not even
But wait,
counted. They're,
wait.
No, it's impossible to
I
keep
love
track
you
of it
guys,
because
but
it's
that is not our
indiscriminate.
conversation tonight, and that's a conversation
Well,
that's
they-
going to be had.
They interrelate, though.
Oh God,
They do.
Because it's all about the history of frameworks. So let's get back to sophistry. With basically the modern, most common way that sophistry is used is to reframe arguments. Now, I can take an argument about A, but if I shift what the focus of the argument is, so now we're no longer talking about people being murdered and riots and protests, we're talking about rioters and looters.
Yes.
And so what you do is you reframe the argument so that the person making the point can no longer make the point they were attempting to make because you never wanted to hear it to begin with.
Right. So you
And
derailed it completely.
You derail it by reframing it and focusing the attention on something else. What about black on black crime? That's the most ignorant shit ever. Almost all crime is intraracial, meaning black people kill more black people. White people kill more white people. This is people do crimes to people that live in proximity, and historically people tend to self-segregate.
That's right.
Now there's a lot in that, like we could talk about white flight, gentrification, and go into a whole. But the point is, people tend to live around people of a similar race or ethnic
Absolutely.
background, and so yeah, black on black crime is not. I mean, it's real, but it's not like
It's
a
not
point.
the
It's not a
discussion.
point. It's not a
Correct.
point. It's just a thing. And then you bring up Chicago, and it's like,
Today, Chicago
Like,
comes
stop!
up. Like, what are we talking about?
like, what
here?
does that have to do with anything? Yes, Chicago is a problem.
Sure.
That's one city. That's a city problem. And honestly, race has very little to do with it. It's about poverty. All of it is about
It's
poverty.
about
when you
poverty
really
and
get back to it.
corruption.
Right. But
So-
if you can keep people distracted by changing the framework of the argument, the point, this is how these arguments keep having to happen over and over again. Because what ends up happening is we start to make progress, and then they reframe it, twist it into something else,
back
and then now, 4 years later, I'm having the same arguments with the same people. And it's like, dude, alright, whatever. And then I gotta check out of it after a while.
And I agree. I absolutely agree. One of the things that brought a lot of heat, and I don't care. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I really don't care. Was I said, if you are white, you are a racist. Now, Y'all, oh, there they 1, 2, 3. They're dropping like flies. I said, if you're white, you're a racist. And everybody, there's a knee-jerk reaction. I am not. But I want you to go back, and I don't mean that like you're. So I found out in the last couple of weeks about gator bait. I'm never going to use that word again.
I don't even know what that means.
Don't.
Peon.
You're all right. Don't. Or maybe you should. Go check my wall. I have learned so much that I did not know. Now, I knew about Christopher Columbus, and I guess I should have known. I didn't know that slave skins were turned to leather just like my people's. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
I found it today.
Wow.
Let's not talk about. Oh my God, I'm such a
It
Jew.
puts the lotion on its
It does.
skin,
It does.
or it gets oppression again.
But I gotta tell y'all, here's the problem. See, you're missing a bonus. At least my people had tattoos.
Yeah.
So I found
They got branded.
this learning, the words that we use. Reconsider, y'all.
The word peon.
We are all the word peon. We are all. Not just white guys. I said that to get a rise out of folks. We're all racist to some degree or another. We've been told stories. We've been given bad history. You want to find out, you want to talk to somebody about history of the Cherokee, talk to a Cherokee. You want to talk to somebody, history of the Shawnee, talk to a Shawnee man or woman or elder, even better. You want to find out about Athea's history, Plinkett, Haida, hello aunties, hello uncles. Talk to the elders. Go seek them out. Talk to the black elders, talk to the white elders, red elders. Talk to the elders. They have so much to teach us. And folks, if we don't, we're going to implode. We can't ride this rock together without something happening, and we can't stop it.
And you have to be willing to hear when
You
it
have to
doesn't match
listen.
your
It
expectations
hurts
or your
like
experience.
hell. And it burns. But I think what really burns is my anger at me for not knowing, for not finding out, for not going,
Why would you question it though? It's
Well, we're taught
stuff-
not to.
That's what I'm saying. It's stuff that you were just like, well, no, I was taught this. This is history.
Right, it's in my history book. Right,
And
in
guess
third
what?
grade, fourth grade,
The
fifth grade.
Nina, the Benson Center, that's all true.
Right.
Just like
Yes.
all lives matter is a true
Yes.
statement, but it intentionally dodges the point. Just like Christopher Columbus discovered America. How do you discover something that's already populated? You know,
Well,
and then why didn't we learn
He
about
never
what
even
happened
set
in
foot
the
on this
United
continent.
States? No, he was down in where was he?
He was on the islands. Come
That's
on,
right, yeah.
busy killing everyone. Look, we get it, but I want you to consider. We want you to consider your words because they're important these days. Words have weight. They build up. They tear down. We will not stop. Hear those words. We've got a long way to go. I know what everybody's thinking. I've seen it. Your memes are very cute about how we're just waiting for the next thing. Let me explain something to you. This is the next thing. This is the rest of our lives. It's not stopping. We're going to find better ways to be white. We're going to find better ways to be allies, brothers, brother and sister.
It's like my dad says. There's only one race.
I love you.
Now
really.
we got some, like he said, we got some Denisovians, some Neanderthalians, and stuff.
Yeah, I love when he
But-
said that too. But his point was we have the mitochondrial Eve. Folks, check it out. I don't want to sway you. Check it out. Look it up. It's amazing how close you and I and you and I and you and I and we're. Don't you let that change your feeling for me, sister. It don't matter. We're all on this damn planet together,
That's right.
and we've got to ride this out. I don't know if I'm going to see it, honestly, guys, in my lifetime. I'm 60. Do you think we can do it in 20 years? I don't.
Well, we're looking at we're already living in the most transformative time in human history.
Amazing to be alive right now. And
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
horrible as it is, damn,
It's
isn't it
amazing.
wonderful?
It's amazing.
I think we have the potential to see some massive steps forward
Yes.
in, systemic structures, voter access, if we can,
If they'd stop.
I think the
Playing
bullshit
with
of the
our
political
votes.
system is reaching the end of its tenure. Now, what's scary about that is the people in power, and I'm talking about the people buying the politicians, not the
Not the
politicians.
people we see, but the people
people
that are
we
backing
don't
them.
see.
Right. And it ain't Soros.
The
Stop it.
the mechanisms that they will be willing to put in place once their system as they have it is no longer functional is what scares me.
Right.
Because these people control our food, they control our water, they control everything. You drive
They
through these
control our
miles
air.
and miles of farmland, and some of it is still independent farmers. A lot of
Most
it,
of it's not.
it is not, and people don't realize that. You know, in these small communities, look at all these farms, great local farm. It's not local farms. You know, that's not that. None of that money is coming back to your community.
All co-op. It's all big. When we talk about the bailout, that all your farmers got the bid. No, they never. I was talking to one farmer who said $25. The co-op, his co-op share was $25 from the big bailout. Where did the money go? The money went to Big Ag. That's where the money went.
Yep.
We could go. How are we doing? This has been, I think, the best for me. I don't know
Lisa
about
wants
y'all.
to know what next week's panel discussion will be.
I don't know, but it's we're gonna have to step it up. It's got to get better and better and better every time.
It is 10:10.
So we've been on for a while. I want to try a little thing with you guys. Words.
Okay.
I'm gonna get you to move your stool just up a little bit. I'm gonna move mine back. You ever moved your stool on Facebook?
I have, I
Probably
think.
not. What?
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, it's late. The kids aren't watching
Yes, they
anymore.
are.
They can't possibly be watching anymore. So, and you are going to be like the eyewitness.
I got
The
you.
weirdest thing about doing stuff on video is they don't know. I could do anything. I could whisper stuff in your ear, and but both of you here are not going to let me really get away with that. So, what?
Don't sniff markers.
It's just a good deal. It's just a. Could you hang on to that? Don't sniff it.
I shan't.
Okay. All right. Sniff. Yay!
I feel like I should share.
Oh, don't let him have any. I need him sober.
That's that good stuff.
I need him sober so that he can. So much. Yeah. Great. Oh, good. Good holder. Are you left or right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
You're right. I won't hold that against you. I'm a lefty. If you would take, I don't know, go ahead, use your right hand. Bring your right hand up above you here, onto the newspaper. Don't draw on me. Good. And I'm just going to set you down. And what I want you to do is make.
Barron, we can't see it. Should I move?
You can't see it.
Have I
Hang
skipped
on a
too
minute.
far?
No.
Yeah.
Just stay right there. I don't know if I have any.
You got a motorized guy?
No, the battery goes out.
I can.
Let's do this. Let's move you just over this way a little bit. Almost grabbed his butt. How's
That should be perfect.
Good.
All right.
All right. And don't draw on the Barron. And just make concentric circles. Smaller and smaller. I'll hold this. Go ahead
Like
and set it down on the paper.
A spiral? or
Yeah,
just
like a
series?
spiral into a center. Just go big, 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 big into the center. Big, 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 big into the center. And stop when you think you've picked a word or two. All right. Put the cap back on the pen. I don't even want to see this. Going. This can be a big mess, and sometimes we don't get anything that's readable. But you are going to be our control. If you would hang on to that.
I will.
So you spiraled. You're hanging on to that. Now check this out. It's where it really gets a little weird. I've got my iPad. I made a post last night, knowing that we were all going to get together, knowing what we were going to talk about today. And I put the link to my Facebook page here on my tablet. Woo! Obviously, at me and my hats. I did a hat rant. I used every hat to make a point. And I'm going to spin down, and what I'm looking for is this, because I highlighted the post that I made last night with that photo so I could find, look, I'm telling you, social justice warrior to the max. Oh, that's our, we're going to be, that's something I'm selling. Sold one, 5-cup money, sold one, we're only going to do 10 of them. There's my Elijah McLean. Look up Elijah McLean. Do not forget that. There's something else I'm selling. That's disgusting, and I don't want to stay there now. That to the Jew in me, that I was floored most of the day today. I told Athena several times today, I don't want to do a show tonight. Don't want to do a show, and I have to because this is when we have to. So shut up, eat it. I'll go back to. So here we are. More means we're going to open that up. Oh God, I wrote a lot. You have to hit more twice. You know.
Yeah,
you've written
double
a lot.
more.
And so kind of what I went off on last night was this is like a dream, a very lucid dream. We're feeling it, but we're living in these wild, crazy times. And start from in a roundabout way there. If you would just read that out loud.
This?
Yeah, just in a roundabout way.
This is a dream.
Not the whole thing.
Oh.
Oh God, he's got a gorgeous voice though.
Well, yeah, you asked me now.
Okay, read. Go ahead. I like that.
This is a dream. A very lucid dream. Sleep. What a surreal landscape it is. I can imagine it's a bit overwhelming for many. Chaos, change, for some very hard awakenings. Spoke with an old dear old at our age, I guess he was right, friend last night. We spoke of futures, a bit of past, mostly just enjoyed each other's company. Well, I hope it's mutual anyway. Next summer or spring, if everyone behaves, I think. That was my answer. We did talk about some coming decisive moments, not just for us, but for many millions of us. Forks. Forks in the road. Not just one singular nay. Many. Plural. That's one topic we'll hit tonight. I'll be playing with my zipper. It's a long story and it gets a little weird, but I think we can get through it. Nice zipper, too. And I guess we'll help sort out the power of words. We agreed that a fine word for today's curriculum is sophistry. Magic itself is almost sophistry, the twisting of words into a deception, due pardoning the license taken. In a roundabout way, we may discuss some news tonight, too. If the news doesn't use and choose their words carefully, I don't know who does. And I want to pay particular attention to President and have Barron wait.
Hashtag Barron Landscapes. I want to
Hashtag
pay
Barron Landscapes.
particular attention to what?
To President and have.
I don't know what that means. I was tired when.
You probably
Could
have
you
like the rest
open?
of the
Could you
sentence.
open?
Not be able to go on planes.
There are two words very distinctly circled by you, sir. What are those two words?
I see President circled and have.
President have.
Can you show that to the camera?
President have. You guys, we could.
That's a good magic.
Thank you,
That's good.
Matt.
I love magic.
We could go on. We could go on. I'm going to post over the week how you guys can win a little magic. But I think we have more important things to talk about tonight.
I was pretty impressed.
Thank you.
To sit by.
I was impressed by your reading voice.
Oh
That's
yeah,
a
no,
gorgeous
I
voice.
like to narrate.
We could, I think with the subjects that we've got going on today, we could do hours and hours and hours. And maybe we will. Maybe we'll get together and do this again. I would love to carry on our conversations. We have to have them.
Yep.
I would like to convince folks out there that they have to have them in honesty. It's not going to do us any good if I hear you. I've had that happen. You don't hear me. You don't hear me when I tell you my great-grandmother and grandfather had tattoos in their lips and on their arms. You don't hear me when I say I don't want to go to Auschwitz. I don't want to walk on a relative, and people laugh. They go, ha ha ha, and I'm not joking. We have to have honest conversations. We have to accept our racism and learn to grow out of it. Learn to grow through that. Listen to other people's stories. Learn who other people are. Learn what our cultures really are. Learn the true stories. My God, if you can't find it, ask somebody. Please talk to our elders of any color, of any gender. We need to start talking to people. We say we're a rainbow. But if that's true, I'm not liking the way the rainbow looks. Final word, sir? Give me a word. What are you going out on? A word. You be thinking. Can't be
Mom was
sophistry.
thinking about getting me back, and then she
Pragmatism.
looked at me and she was like, oh no.
Look it up.
This also
And I
sounds
would
like
balance
a
that
good
with hope.
bracelet for my baby. Or me.
Really?
Those two things in conjunction.
Absolutely.
Pragmatism.
Our mom
Well, I
was
can hope
thinking of fixing
For
my
change, but
plus
if what I
but
want
she
is
can't right now
unattainable,
'cause she has work.
compromise can happen. That's where pragmatism comes in.
She works day shift.
I'm going to
She
give the
comes
final
home
word
at
then.
6.
Pragmatism.
She has to work for
Good.
12 hours.
Oh, great word. Action.
And you
Let's go, people.
don't
Hey,
know
I love you.
what
They
I
love you,
want.
I'm sure.
When I
We'll
was
see you
dad,
next
the
week.
thing about
Barron Landscapes. Hashtag Barron Landscapes. We'll get you there.
we had to go
Alex.
and I needed to go
Thank
to
you.
the bathroom.
Oh, man.
This was good.
It was cathartic for me. We don't
I
care
bet.
about them. It was good for me.
I told
Oh my God! So now I know.
Now
So
you
we
know.
can have a different.
We
Let's do something again. I can think of a few things I'd like to produce in this day and age, huh, guys?
I'm
They may not like it, but we make it
these
work.
games
You
and
all,
they
I love you. I really do.
seen them on
Hey, can I help you?
Facebook.
Can you give me a messenger? Can you call me on the phone? What do you need on your journey
Guess what I got?
from me? If it's just encouragement, I'm happy to give you that. And so to all of you, thank you. Gosh, it's been a long one. I hope it's been a good one for you. We're going to do this more. I don't like having a time limit, and so when we have good conversations these days, we don't say cut. We just go on. Y'all go on too. Love you. We'll see you next week. Guys, thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh my
That
gosh.
was so awesome.
I wish we had like